Welcome back to the channel, G Nation. Vernon Greaves here with Superior Restoration Construction. We're back at the ranch house, and this is episode 2 of The Ugly Truth. If you recall, this was the wall removal. We have done a structural load-bearing, floor-bearing wall removal for the new open format kitchen. These are getting demoed here in the next day. So this is our wall. All the aspects to pulling a wall. So here we actually have our structural micro lambs. Those are 3 that exceeds our weight limit by about 30% in the positive. We have our new struck hangers for all our floor joists that used to be scissored on top of themselves. Now they're self-supporting and hanging. We actually have our struck load wall. All of these are our shear seismic straps per our structural engineer. We've got all our metal plates. Everything is covered for any electrical coming through, plumbing coming through. Everything is protected from any aspect of a nail or screw. We have our fire foam, so all your electrical outlets, every bit of any hole, protrusion is sealed up, and basically that stops if you ever had a fire. If there was an electrical short or something, oxygen is your enemy, so when everything is sealed up, they put themselves out. That's the reason you see that. So this is what good looks like. These are the things that you should be asking about. Here we have our struck load to our exterior wall, traveling down to our footing, so that actually is straight onto the concrete footing. And then we come over, this is what was funny, the beam under the floor is right here, but oh, the wall was over here, so it's actually 10 inches off, and that struck wall that's bearing is actually over on joist, and it's not even on the beam that is under the supporting wall under the floor in the crawl. On this struck post load, we actually have the same post load going down, continuing down to a new concrete footing for itself. So this entire load goes all the way to ground, picked up. These are actually glued and screwed lammed. So that's how that gets done. If you notice, all this was split. So we had only one electrical line coming into this. So we actually brought in 2 more circuits and split the kitchen into 2.5 basic circuits, 20 amp. We have our new lighting relay. We got all dimmer switches here. It's beautiful. So here we actually have our, let's turn on, we got our ring around the rosy. That's our lights coming around our perimeter. Then we have our interior island right here. We have 2 pendant, and I love the pendant over the island actually ended up directly on a joist, because that always happens. Those are some special boxes there. They're called half pipe boxes, or at least that's what I'm calling them. And that gives us the ability to have an enclosed box and have room for the wiring, and not just have a pancake box sitting on the drywall, because if you've ever tried to wire a fancy light, you don't have enough room in the can to do that on a pendant. So that's the reason for that. Now we get over to here, we actually have our reefer. We got our reefer box here. We've got, this is gonna be a cute little curio corner. So we'll actually have power over there. This one of the reasons we do so many kitchens, I do a floating microwave box. So I take an over the range microwave. I do not put it over the stove. We put it over on in a cafe wall. And then we have the microwave up here built in with a cabinet up above. We don't know the height of this one yet, so this outlet can move during the cabinet installation. So these are the tricks. These are those little things that get you. Just like the oven outlet will get you. Depending on where this one actually had a fire and it actually had burned up. Look at that. That actually is beautiful. Look at that. Yeah, they had that hanging on one screw in a 4-aught box, and when we pulled the oven back, that's what we got. So one of the issues with your oven is, do you have enough room for the plug and the whip, depending on how the oven is made, if it's flat back or if it has a recess. Normally that outlet is on the ground. okay? But if it isn't on the ground, it's up there, it's in the way, especially with that plug forming, and you've got to move the oven back off the wall. So this is something that is now still to be determined. We need to get the manufacturer of the oven, make sure that we have enough room. If not, we've got to cut into this cavity and push the outlet back and create a drywall cavity for that. Because guess what? Our wiring is coming down to it. I can't just simply drop it because our wiring is coming down. We don't have any more length. So that's the way that would be handled. But anyway, we are nearing the end of the line. We even put some designer lights out there in the forum here that didn't have anything before. That's beautiful. Those are movable headlamp style gimbal lights. But our Ugly Truth wall is in. So we're getting ready. We're actually going to throw some insulation. We're going to throw some sound control in these empty cavities. There is a bedroom above this kitchen, and so for some sound break, we're going to fill those cavities up. That's the last thing before we start to close this up. Get some drywall in here and start putting the pretty on. Start getting the makeup. This is the hard work. We've actually been lifting the floor, doing all our post-load corrections all throughout the beams and everything. But this is what it takes when you remove a wall. And whether or not you remove a wall that's a floor load or a structural load, just remember that you're taking a wall out of something. It's going to affect many things, from your electrical to your plumbing. There was a lot of things that got kicked in the teeth on this one just by removing that wall. But boy, oh boy, she is gonna be looking good when that kitchen comes into this. This is the fun stuff. So thanks for watching. If you have any questions, reach out. See our other videos at Superior Restoration Construction on YouTube. Thanks for watching. Remember to like and share.